Hey, this is Pastor Montgomery of Life Changing Experience Worship Center. I just want to let you know we just came out of a power-packed service here at the church for our 1045 service. I'm here, as you can see, with none other than Dr. Fairest Hill, all the way from Tampa, Florida. He was in our service. If you were not able to come, I would advise you to get the DVD, or he'll be back with us August 1st for our Youth Crusade. And we're going to talk a little bit about some things concerning that. And also, I just going to pick Dr. Hill's brain a little bit about what his specialty is. He is one of God's best at motivating young people, talking to people, period. But he's really keened in and has the heartbeat of young people. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I just want to say, Dr. Hill, God bless you. Glad to have you in the city.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Well, like the pastor said, it was awesome this morning. It was off the chain, especially with the parents and really getting the parents ready for what's going to happen August 1st for our children. And we said in the meeting with the parents, if we want to see our children set free, then parents need to be set free.
Yes.
You know, I use the phrase that you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are.
Yes.
And so I'm just speaking to parents out there. We want our children to walk in that freedom and that winning lifestyle. Then the parents, they need to have that. They need to live that.
Yes. That was awesome. That was awesome. And see, as you can see, it's going to be off the chains in here.
Yes.
August 1st here at Life Changing Spirit Worship Center for our Youth Crusade. I got a couple of questions, and we're going to just kind of go back forth a little bit. First thing I want to ask you is, in your travels, you are highly sought after, internationally, nationally. You go into a lot of schools. You go into a lot of churches. Pastors pull on you to come in and to motivate their young people, their youth groups, youth departments, and so on. What is the most pressing issue that you see in your travels that young people are facing today?
Well, Pastor, I believe the first thing of it is the season that we're in right now. And the reason why I'm so passionate about the youth and its direction right now is because we're in a season, so much of uncertainty, where it's not clear about the future. Never has there been a generation of young people who have just been born into everything collapsing on every level. As you mentioned, I work in the school system as a motivational speaker. Never has there been the cutbacks. You know, who would ever thought the day would come where they're cutting back on teachers? You know, you would think that was probably the most essential, you know, when you think of the police department, the hospitals, schools, you would think that this is, you know, that is something that would never be threatened.
Right.
They're having to shut schools down, consolidate, and the demands on the teachers, the expectation with the low shoestring budgets.
Right.
So we're in a season now where there's an overwhelming amount of stress that are on leaders, parents as well as teachers. And so, you know, when I talked about you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are. If teachers and parents are stressed out, then that stress is carried over into the children.
Right.
So now you got children now on medicated drugs. Parents are on medicated drugs. So in the midst of all of that, I think the biggest problem that I see across the country, and when I look in the eyes of young people, is a concern about my future, a concern about mommy and daddy. You know, is mommy and daddy gonna make it? You know, and so with that pressure that's on our young people, so many of them walk around with a spirit of discouragement, with a spirit of hopelessness. In fact, I have a message called Overcoming the Pit of Despair, because we have a lot of our young people who are in a pit. It's like that old commercial, I'm falling and I can't get up. And we have a lot of young people that they're not just in the secular world, but in the church world. The kids they're falling and they can't get up because of that hopelessness, that uncertainty. And we as leaders, that's what we've got. We've got to paint them a picture that I don't care how bad things are, they're going to get better.
Right.
They're going to get, you know, I'm originally from the Brewster Projects of Detroit, Michigan. And I was reared up back in '68 when we had to go through the riots. This is after Martin Luther King's life was taken. And I tell people that if you can survive the riots of Detroit, Michigan, you can survive anything.
Anything.
If you can survive coming out of the project, you can survive anything. And so I think that is, and when we come back in August the 1st for that meeting, that's part of what I'm going to be talking about is how to thrive, how to overcome in challenging times. And so it's not just a message for young people, but it's a message for everybody. How do I overcome in a season of uncertainty when everything is shaking around me, the economy, how can I keep my focus and maintain my stability?
Good. That's going to be awesome.
That's it, brother. Awesome. That's it.
Let me ask you this: are you seeing, and I'm saying this based on our life's experience, a lot of young people now are having to grow up with dad not there for whatever reason. You know, there's many statistics that parallel prisons and college,
sure,
and especially us as
sure.
African Americans.
Sure.
A lot of African American men, more of them are in prison than it is in college, than they are in college. And there is a disparity in the community. And are you seeing that when you go in schools, maybe there's a difference between that young child that's growing up in a two-parent home versus that young child that is growing up in a one-parent home? Maybe that's something that you can really speak to, where I could have used dad around for whatever reason, he's not there. Are you seeing anything result-wise, you know, from that?
Definitely, most definitely. I mean, it's with what you're saying there. It's no coincidence that first of all, 70% of our African American and Hispanic homes have no father, and with that, yes, 70%. And so with that being said, now we have 70% of our men who are incarcerated. And so that when we talk about challenging times, and that's part of what especially as African Americans and Hispanics, and not just us, but even people of other ethnicities, you know, because some of them don't have a father that are in the house, or they may even have. And sometimes the worst thing to have is a father who's in the home who's not a good role model. Because you can have a father at home and he's an alcoholic, or he don't care, or he's abusive. So that's even worse than not having a father at home. But I'm seeing that parallel with our young people across the country. A lot of them, but my new book is called Daddy Talk. Daddy Talk. Because there's certain things that only a father can teach you. You know, I always say mothers, they give encouragement, they give nourishment, but that daddy's imprint on that child's life. It's that daddy that speaks to that purpose. You know, one of the things that I always say in my Daddy Talk book, I say before that child was born, that daddy carried in his seed. He carried that their identity, that destiny came out from daddy. You see what I'm saying? And so when daddy's not there, there's a disconnect. And that's what's happening is there's a disconnect. And I shared this, I was just in Flint, Michigan with 300 at-risk students who had failed the 9th grade. And they were angry, man. I had 6 different rivalry gangs in one group. I was putting out fires the whole week. And I share with them that the biggest problem that most of them have is they didn't have their fathers. I asked them, how many of you have a daddy? And 90% of them said, I've never seen my daddy. And so with that, because daddy is not only the provider, but he is the protector. Daddy is the one, he's like the adhesive glue that keeps it all together. And so one of the things I share with them, that when daddy is not taken out, then there is no respect for authority. So there's no respect for the teacher, there's no respect for the preacher, there's no respect for the principal, there's no respect for because that voice of authority, mama can only take them so far, but they need that voice of authority. That's why the scripture of Malachi in the Old Testament, he says, He said, I'm going to return the hearts of the fathers to the children, the hearts of the children to the. He left on the last, he said, I got to get the fathers back to the children. I got to get the men back to the children because if we're to turn this thing around, the father's voice has got to come back.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Man, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
That is good. That is good. I want to ask you, right in line with that, in your travel, and you've served as youth pastor in
Yes.
places, and you've worked with a lot of churches. What can youth leaders do, youth directors, youth pastors, even the pastor of the church? What can we do to motivate our children more to be involved in church, be more participatory is what I want to use, in church, in our youth groups, in our youth departments? What are, if you would tag one or two things that we can do to motivate them to be more excited about the things of God concerning our church?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Pastor Montgomery. Let me say this first of all, and I'm going to go back to leadership, and I want to thank God for you as a pastor. You and, of course, I have to mention Pastor Burns. Call me Pastor Burns. Call me Pastor Burns. Hope you get this message, Pastor Burns. But I love him. I love Pastor Burns because one thing he had and you have is that he, when I was youth pastor at New Dimension, he allowed me to come in and he was open to new ideas, fresh ideas. And I think that that's a major part of it. The leader of the house has got to have a vision for their youth. And the leader of the house has got to be like what you're doing with these meetings in August. I mean, you're saying, look, I want to reach our kids, you know what I'm saying? And because we have kids who are dying in the temple. And so we can't talk about the future without talking about the youth of today and preparing them. And so that's the first thing I would say is that we need more leaders. We need more pastors who have a heart for their children. To say we want to do something. And then the other word I want to say is that as youth leaders, we need unconventional strategies. You know, the Bible says the children of Issachar had an understanding of times of the seasons, and they knew what ought to have been done. We need strategies to be able to, unconventional strategies to pull kids in. You know, and I would say, with that being said, because I like to come back here and do some, I think we need some good leadership training with youth pastors, youth leaders. There needs to be a training workshop because a lot of our youth leaders, they have the heart, they have the vision, they have the passion, but they have not been trained to deal with the kind of youth that we have. I call them the raw dogs. This whole generation, they're raw dogs. They're not like the youth in our days. You know what I'm saying? And with this generation of young people today, a lot of the young people today, they've already experienced sexual activity. They've already experienced some of the things in the world. They've already experienced some of that. So you have to have a different mindset as we train them and bring them up. And so that's one of the things. I think we need to have youth leadership workshops, but then the youth leaders, you know, like what I did at New Dimension, when I was there, the youth room that I had, you know, I kind of turned it into what I call a dream center, giving them something to look at, to aspire and say, this is what I want to be, this is what I want to do. And being able to tap into their potential, tap into their purpose, and being able to help direct them. And so I think that's a major part of it. And then what you're doing right now, having youth concerts. Because our kids today, amen, brother, on the phone, our kids today, they need to know. I share with kids today, I know you want to hip hop. I know you want to, you want to do the latest music out there. But for every sound that's in the secular world, God's got somebody who's doing the same thing in gospel. You know what I'm saying? And I think for too long, our young people have the mindset, well, you know what, if I go to church or go to youth, well, you know, we're not cool, we're not hip, we don't have this or that.
Right.
No, for every secular sound you hear, there is someone in the gospel industry who's got the same sound, but bringing a real message.
Right.
If they don't hear nothing else, you need to hear that. And when we do those meetings, that's what they're going to hear. They're going to hear the sound that they like, but it's going to be the right message.
Right.
And that's what parents need to hear. Is that you know, it's really not about the music. It's more about what they're saying.
Yes.
And if we can take the music, the style of music that they're used to hearing, and put the gospel in it, put the gospel on it, then you know what? We get them hooked, and we pull them in by the thousands.
That is so true.
Yeah.
One of the things that we try to do here at LCE is to be open.
Yes.
Have an open mind to reach the young people.
Yes.
I've given our youth department, you know, free reign to go in whichever direction they choose to go. I fully trust them in what we are trying to do here at the church overall.
Yes.
Because the youth are different than when we came up.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't a big problem to get the youth involved in church back then, even though we didn't have the two areas that they're gonna work in. Either they gonna sing in the choir, or they gonna usher on the usher board. And it wasn't a big problem getting them. They would come, they would serve, they'd do their thing. But this generation is different. They're not too fond about singing as much as we were when we came up.
Right.
They're not too fond about standing on the door with their hands behind their back with some white gloves on. They're not fond about that. And so they find themselves at a disconnect when it comes to church, because they either can't relate, or they can't find a place where they fit in. So the youth group becomes, the youth department becomes so important. And that's good what you're saying to us as leaders, that we become more open-minded for our kids, because we can't use the same bait that we used back then, because we're catching a different fish.
There you go.
And so we got to change our strategy. The message can't change.
That's right.
But our methods have to be have to be tweaked to the times that we're in. We don't sacrifice the message. The message is still the same.
That's
Jesus is still Lord.
He's still,
But we have to kind of repackage things and rework things to kind of bring them to where we want them to go. And so that is good to hear.
No, it is right on point. You know, there's a phrase that I had that says you can be busy but not effective.
Right.
And I think in being effective, you know, one of the things that, you know, as a youth pastor, and even as I travel across the country in the school system, you know, I'm always listening for, okay, what is their sound? Where are they? You know, because, you know, I think that's where we miss it a lot of times, you know, as leaders. A lot of times we're not concerned with where they are.
Right.
And if we want to reach them, we got to find out where they are.
Right.
To be able to reach them. Every generation has its own expression, different expression. Just like I came up in the Motown era, we had our styles, the way we move. This generation has a different style of the way they move. And if we want to, and I tell this to teachers and administrators, that if you want to be effective in reaching our young people, then you must find out what is going to get their ear, because this is a sight and sound generation. What they see, what visuals are you putting up? That's why, and you'll see me August 1st, you'll see as I do certain songs, I'll have videos that'll be going in the back. They'll see videos. You have to hit them in all different kind of ways, because some it may not be a song, some it may be a video while they're watching a video. You know what I'm saying? And so what I like it when I do my meetings, and I have to be this way, like I tell you, I just left 300 at-risk kids and 6 different gang bangers. So I had to come one way, the other way. They didn't know how I was coming. I said, oh, you thought I was coming this way, but I'm coming this way. You know what I'm saying? I had to throw a little rap on them, throw a little video on them, then I had to hook them at the end. You know what I'm saying? But I had them all with you, Pastor, you love this. I tell you what, you would love this. At the end of this meeting, this just happened, I had the gangbangers singing the song, "We Don't Do Crazy No More."
I'm in the kingdom.
I'm in the kingdom. I had the gang leaders singing, "We don't do crazy no more," because we were in the kingdom. And see, that's what we got to see. We got to see ourselves introducing them to another. That's what Jesus said, repent. For the kingdom, I'm coming to give you a whole different lifestyle. I'm telling you to lift you up from where you are. And so we got to, with that, we've got to, I don't care how we got to do it, we got to give them vision. Because vision is what gives them hope.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to aggressively, when I'm in the schools, you know, I aggressively go after young people. And I'm going to say that to youth leaders out there, youth pastors. You know, we can't sit back, you know, and let them fall between the cracks.
Yeah.
We need some youth leaders who would aggressively go after our young people. Because that's what Jesus would do.
Yeah.
He would and that's what we don't have. We don't have enough youth leaders that sit back. When I was youth director at New Dimension, I knew the kids. And when they wasn't there, I would tell my other leaders, where are they?
Right.
Somebody get it on the phone, find out where they are. And if we were doing youth services and they were in the sanctuary or somewhere else, I would say, go get them. We need them. Go get them. And you have to aggressively go after young people because they have that, right now, that kind of slump, you know, whatever kind of attitude.
Yeah.
You know, and that relaxed kind of attitude. And so if you don't aggressively go after these young people, you will lose them. We got to go after them.
The world is.
The world, oh yeah, Biggie. I mean, we talk Puff Daddy, all of them.
Yeah,
Jay-Z, they're going after them. And they're winning them by the millions.
Yes.
They're going after them while we sit back and lay back and hope that hope they come. No. We don't need to, you need to go after them. You need to go after your young people and you need to get them involved, Pastor. That's what they need to do.
Yes.
They need to get them involved in your youth groups. They need to, because if youth are not involved, one of the things I noticed by working with youth is that they learn more by being involved than just by being there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Learn more by doing.
Yeah, they learn by doing. There you go. Now, if you just having a youth group and they just come in there, that's going to all wear out. They're going to lose interest. They're going to lose excitement. They learn more by getting involved and doing.
Yeah.
And so as a youth leader, that's what you got to do. You got to find ways to say, look, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. And come on, stay on it. Because that's also, when we talk about mentorship, that's part of mentoring them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dr. Miles Monroe, who is my mentor, and I love him. Dearly, I've been working with him 20 years. But Dr. Miles Monroe, every time I went with him, he would keep me involved. Come on, Fairest, I need you to do this. Fairest, I need you to do this. I'm gonna put you up to the sing. I'm gonna do, and the more he did that, the more it developed my potential. It developed my confidence.
Gotcha.
It made me more excited about what I was doing.
Gotcha.
So we got to look at youth leaders need to also see themselves as mentors.
Yeah. That's good.
That's good.
We almost done, but I want you to look in the camera.
Yes.
And you will be back here at Life Changing Experience Worship Center. LCE, for those who know us as that.
Yes.
He'll be here with us for our first night of our Youth Crusade, August 1st. The second night, August 2nd, we'll have our jam night. He's here for Word Night. Our jam night where we have John Jackson and Elements of Praise. Priscilla Sapp's going to be here. Our youth is going to be doing their thing. It's our laid-back night. Dr. Hill's going to be here the first night for Word Night. I want you to look in the camera, Doc, and tell them what they can expect from Word Night. You coming back August 1st. We want this place packed. Yes. You don't want to miss this. Talk to them.
Yeah, I'm tell you what. The first word that comes to my mind is going to be explosive. You know, we had a song in the Gap Band. For some of you who don't know me, I traveled with Charlie Wilson. And we had a song called You Dropped the Bomb. I'm telling you what, that's what's going to happen. Is that the Holy Ghost is going to drop a bomb on your young people. And I'm expecting a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
It's going to be one night that they'll never forget. And with the word and the music and everything wrapped in together, it is our intent to the song that says breaking those chains, because a lot of our young people have had chains, but we want to break those chains so they can release the potential that's on the inside of us. So it's going to be an awesome night. I encourage the parents. I tell parents, you know what? Bring your kids.
Yes.
I'm from the old school.
Yeah.
Well, Mama brought me to church.
Don't send them. Don't send them.
That's right. She brought them.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm saying, bring them here. This is going to be something for everybody in here. You can look at me and tell that I'm not a teenager, so I'm a parent also. Okay? So I encourage you, parents. I'm telling you, we're gonna have something for everybody. But I encourage you, parents, bring them out. But young people, I'm telling you, I got a heart for you. My heart is for you. I want you to win. I want you to make it. So I need you to be here because there's going to be a word released in you to release you into your destiny. So it's important that you're here.
Listen, if you were in screaming distance of Pensacola, if you were in driving distance of Pensacola, I'm talking to Mobile, I'm talking to Fort Walton Beach, I'm talking to Milton, I'm talking to Crestview, I'm talking to Atmore, over in the Mississippi. If you're in driving distance of Pensacola, Florida, Life-Changing Experience Worship Center, 2120 West Jackson. We're right on the corner of Pace and Jackson. You really need to be here. Don't miss this. It's going to be off the chain. So we're calling everybody. It doesn't matter what church you go to, whether you go to church at all. Matter of fact, if you don't go to church, you're the one I really want to come. Come and let God do something in your life through this great man of God. He's going to come and motivate our youth and move them to the next space and the next page and level in their lives. So you heard it here. Pastor Darrell Montgomery, Dr. Fairest Hill, God bless you. We'll see you on the 1st.